Okay, so let's get started with my review of Epilepsy the movie. I'm kidding, of course. But if you are prone to seizures or things of that nature, you might want to steer clear of certain scenes or just stay away from the movie entirely, because some of this stuff gets pretty intense. Lots of flashing lights and all that stuff. But anyway, so a little bit of the backstory first, because that's how it all starts, right? And this is where my gripe is with this movie. Now, this movie is really good, really nice action with some decent storytelling, but this will be the only part where I go full rant mode, because there are a lot of contradictions in the beginning, lots of retconning and stuff like that. So it starts off with, of course, Frieza being announced as the new commander, replacing King Cold over the Saiyans. You know, the new commander over the Saiyans, and that means he is in charge of all of them. He's the ruler or whatever. And you know, he takes out some snipers who threaten him. And that's pretty much how it starts out. And here is where the contradictions start. You know, five years later, I believe, after Broly and Paragus are exiled because Broly apparently has an unnatural power level. You see, Frieza believes in the whole Super Saiyan myth early on, but it's not just that. Frieza also heard rumors of the Super Saiyan God, which is ridiculous, because he was completely surprised by Goku's new transformation. Given that, why would he have known, like, how would he have known about Super Saiyan God if he didn't know that Goku was capable of reaching that level? That makes no sense, right? And then you have things like Goku being sent just a few years older than he should have, being sent to Earth, of course, and he is also sent to Earth in Saiyan armor, which makes no sense. See, in the flashback of Dragon Ball Z, Season 1 of Dragon Ball Z shows a flashback of Goku as a baby, naked, because that's how Goku usually was back in those days. You know, for some reason they just didn't want him to wear clothes in the pod. I don't get that. But anyway, Goku in the original flashback was not wearing Saiyan armor, and he was also a baby. In this version, he's sort of a toddler. He's still kind of young. And Goku apparently doesn't remember his father, despite that being the last thing he saw before getting shipped off. So I don't get that either. Now, whether you want to believe that anything from the Father of Goku movie, if you want to believe that anything is canon in that movie, whether you want to believe that or not, that's perfectly fine. There's still debate around that. But in that movie, he doesn't actually see his son off. Bardock doesn't. Bardock doesn't see his son off. He actually passes him by while he's off to Earth. So that's a bit of a contradiction. And then So, father of Goku also shows Bardock confronting Frieza, which is also a flashback when Frieza meets Goku for the first time. And, so in this version, he doesn't confront Frieza. He merely tries to blast away Frieza's death ball or whatever. And that's how, that's how that happens. And it just, none of it makes any sense. And it would have been a lot better just to keep the original backstory, the original origin, without changing, like, just keep the original origin and then insert Broly into the story. But instead they decided, hey, we're not going to do that. We're going to just merely change everything so it would be easier to fit Broly into the narrative. That makes no sense to me. But they did it, and it's kind of stupid. But enough of that. So, of course, Paragus vows vengeance on the Saiyan race, but the Saiyan race is destroyed, along with King Vegeta, of course. I think he only vows vengeance on King Vegeta, whatever. And so, it fast forwards to present day when Vegeta and Goku are sparring. Now, I should have mentioned this before, but there are going to be spoilers in this. It's been out for a few weeks now. Anyone who still hasn't watched it, if you don't care about spoilers, feel free to watch this video, but please stop it right here if you actually don't want to be spoiled. I've said enough already. But now here's where I kind of get into spoiler territory. So, if you have not watched the Tournament of Power arc in Super, you will not understand any of this. Goku confesses to wanting to get stronger because of the Tournament of Power. And Vegeta confesses to wanting to get stronger because Frieza was brought back during the Tournament of Power arc. And for those of you who only watched the movies, you might be a little confused by that because Frieza was killed again in Resurrection F. So maybe watch the Tournament of Power arc before this, is all I'm saying. And so Frieza is alive again, and Vegeta is pissed that Goku brought him back to life, so to speak. And so Vegeta, he wants to get stronger so he can beat Frieza and kill him again. When the time comes, of course. And then just Bulma and Frieza have similar ideas of what to do with the Dragon Balls. Okay, so Bulma wants to she wants to turn back the clock 5 years, so to speak. She wants to de-age herself 5 years. And Frieza apparently wants to grow 5 centimeters, which they both have similar reasons for the five difference. Now, Bulma doesn't want people to notice how different she looks because there will be rumors and everything. And Frieza also wants people to think that he is growing naturally. It's a bit weird. So they find Broly on a remote planet, Vampa, and they bring him back on the ship, and already Broly is kind of a loose cannon. He nearly kills someone, and of course Paragus has a shock collar on him, just like in the original movie. So already that's kind of a thing, you know. Anyway, So let's get to the part that I've been wanting to talk about. So apparently Frieza has stolen 6 of the Dragon Balls already. He wants to get a 7th on some kind of ice continent or whatever. And Beerus is left with Bola. And so the fight starts off with Vegeta, and it's kind of a switch on how things were in the original movies. Originally, it was Goku that Broly hated, but in this one, it's Vegeta because of what King Vegeta did in the past. And so the fight ensues. Broly doesn't match up to Vegeta at the moment right away, but then he starts to overwhelm him, and he's learning while he's fighting and all this stuff. And sooner or later, when he becomes overwhelmed by Vegeta's power, now Vegeta debuts his Super Saiyan Red form, which is basically just, you know, it's sort of like how Goku transforms. Goku's regular haircut is colored red, which is basically what Vegeta's is. Vegeta's is his regular haircut colored red. So, you know, no difference there. Except for the power, of course. Other than that, Vegeta just overwhelms Broly to the point where Broly is forced to transform. He becomes a great ape in human form. He is somehow able to access the powers of a great ape while in his human form. So he starts to actually beat Vegeta down, and Goku takes a turn or whatever, and at one point Broly actually takes Goku by the leg. And you know how Hulk slammed Loki around? You know how Hulk slammed Loki around in the Avengers movie? That's exactly what Broly does in this. And at some point, Broly also goes into this weird first-person fighting mode, where it's like you only see him fighting from his point of view. It's kind of weird. And Frieza kills Paragus to trigger Broly's Super Saiyan form, his transformation, and it works. And Broly becomes way stronger, and he becomes so strong that now the Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, have to start working together. And it's still not enough, right? It's still not nearly enough. So what happens is they have to get the assistance. They have to get Piccolo to help them. They basically have to get Piccolo to help them, and it's just like Fusion Reborn, right? Fusion Reborn has them first turning into fat Gogeta, then skinny Gogeta, and then true Gogeta, and that's how this happens. And Vegeta's just fighting it the whole time. He's like, I'd rather have Broly kill me, you know, all this stuff. He doesn't want to do it. So they become Gogeta after leaving Frieza to deal with Broly, and Frieza's getting his ass whooped and all this stuff. And they tear Broly up to the point where he almost dies. But of course, one of Broly's new friends uses the Dragon Ball to send him back. And the ending is basically Goku wants to train with Broly. Goku, he wants to get so much stronger. And Broly is really the strongest opponent he's faced since the Tournament of Power. when he fought Jiren, right? So that pretty much concludes my review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. And the next time I do this, I will be reviewing Mortal Kombat 11. So if anyone is watching, please rate and comment. And so long until next month.